Alright, so white privilege. I've had a convo with my mom about this. It lasted about an hour, just an honest conversation, because I wanted to know if she felt if white privilege was real or not. And she told me that yes, she does believe it, but she believes that it's so subtle to the point where even white people themselves don't realize that they're using it. So then I asked her after that if she believes in black privilege, to which she also said yes. And this is where I want to take the discussion. So yeah, quick disclaimer, I'm only 20 years old. I understand I may not have a full grasp of this topic because of how young I am. Feel free to leave in the comments your experience and your opinion. I read all my comments because I understand that this is such a big topic. There's no way one person can cover everything properly. Now, there are so many privileges in this world. I'm gonna name a few of them. There's rich privilege, height privilege, where you're from privilege, genetic privilege. Like, there's so many different things, man. And that's really the only issue I have when people talk about white privilege. Like, I'll go online and I'll see so many people, mainly black people, talk about, system of government, how we can't get past the white man, we're oppressed, they're putting barriers to slow us down and all of this stuff, right? I agree with it. Some of it anyway. Like, I live in England. Never once in my life have I ever felt like a second-class citizen or felt like I'm oppressed or felt like I didn't get anything I wanted because of my race. I've never felt like that ever. However, that's just my personal experience. Like, I can just do a simple Google search and find countless news reports and articles about this stuff happening. So I'm aware that it does happen and it happens a lot. I just hold the opinion that certain privileges, they go up and they go down based on several factors. Like, for example, your location. Like, if you live in a quote-unquote white country, yeah, I guess there'll be more negative stereotypes about people that aren't white. I can understand that. Location really changes how we view privileges without even realizing it. Like, for example, in England, you can be anything but straight. Like, you can be gay, you can be lesbian. There's a whole movement, like this whole LGBTQ stuff, all right? And I fully support you guys, do your thing. If you want to be that, be that. But I'm saying in certain countries, you die for that. I was having a conversation with someone in my comment section a couple of weeks ago. You can die for being LGBT in certain countries. That's location privilege. Because I mean, you're lucky to be able to grow up in a country or live in a country to where you can be yourself and it's accepted, right? Also, there's time privilege, for my generation anyway, because I can't speak for the people who are alive in the 50s and 60s, but my generation, we're in a time period where yes, there's the whole Ukraine and Russia thing, but in general, the world is a lot more peaceful nowadays. Like, there's so much integration, people migrating from country to country. Overall, it's a lot more peaceful than it was even 100 years ago. Like, 100 years ago, it was World War I had just finished. I think I struggle to understand like how recent of a time period that was. And yeah, 70 years ago, we had the whole, you know what I'm saying? We live in a time period right now, and I'm blessed to live in a country to where you can say a lot of madness. Like, you can disrespect your leaders, your system of government, the law enforcement. You can criticize anything you want to criticize, and you won't really get in trouble for it unless you actually pull off an action. Like, back in them dictatorship days, you could not openly say nothing that goes against the government, or you're locked off. And there's even countries nowadays where you can't say what you want. Like, look at North Korea. You can't say shit without dying. Look, I'm not gonna drag this on too long, but do I believe in white privilege? Yes. But I also believe in black privilege. I also believe in Hispanic privilege. I also believe in Asian privilege. I also believe there's so many privileges I believe in. To only blame white privilege for potential shortcomings feels shallow. Like, when I went to secondary school in St. Lucia, yes, I was black and I was among other black people, but I got discriminated against. Well, I don't say discriminated because I wasn't like, it makes it sound way worse than what it was, but people looked at me differently because I was from England and I moved to St. Lucia. So it wasn't because of a black and white thing. There were white people there that were fine. They were just fine. So I really think it depends on how you look at things and what situation you go in. I think it's easier to judge privilege on a personal level rather than judging it on a whole scale industry, because we have to get precise when we talk about things like this. I feel like people's experiences will determine how they view privilege. And that's why I know I'm not fully right. I'm right in terms of my experience, but you watching this video, you may be watching this thinking, he don't know what he's talking about. I have to deal with this and deal with this. And again, you'd be right because that's your experience. But yeah, I'm not gonna drag this on. I'll leave it here. If you have comments, please put your opinions in the comments. I read all of them. And yeah, stay happy, stay healthy. Take care, you guys.
I'm not a savior nor a saint. Told 30s and sticks with an open case. I try to behave when I know I can't. So purpose of this is to motivate. What's the ticket? Shit we can negotiate. Take a toke of the law while I